Never mind the intro. It's now called Growing Garden City. That was a typo. No, I haven't made us an intro. I'm trying really hard. Janine, Kent, how are you doing?
Doing awesome. How about you?
Doing well. Kent, I haven't seen you. This is like the first time I've gotten to talk to you all day because we were having technical issues up until 4 minutes ago. Are you okay?
I'm doing good, man. We've got internet rocking and rolling. Hopefully it holds up for us tonight.
Awesome. So last week we had Carly Ray. What was her friend's name? Brandy, maybe? No, what was her friend's
Kelly.
name?
It was Kelly.
And Meredith on. We talked about COVID-19 and how it's affecting the beauty industry. And then we talked to Carly Ray's husband, Josh Sauer, who's an art teacher, and he was talking about, how they were going to try to figure out how to get some art supplies to kids to do some work from home stuff. And a gentleman named Marshall chimed in the chat and said that he would like to help provide the Kent dropped off. We'll figure it out. He would like to help provide the art supplies for them. And we got a hold of him because he thought that was pretty rad. So Marshall, Anliker, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm great, guys. How are you all?
Doing well. Welcome to the show.
Hey, great. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. So Marshall, go ahead, man. So Marshall, you're with Assurance Exteriors here in Garden City, Kansas. You guys have several locations across the street, but you are local here in town. Can you tell us a little bit about your business and what you guys do here in Garden City?
Yeah, so we were excited to come to town officially last June. We actually started working out there about last March when we came out for a home show and saw an opportunity and just jumped in with both feet and opened a brick and mortar store there in Garden City. So like you were saying, we do service the entire state of Kansas. Our corporate headquarters is actually based out of Topeka. We also have an operation in Overland Park. And then Garden City was our third edition, which we're really excited about.
How'd you end up in Garden City?
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask.
What was that, Janine? Sorry.
How'd you end up in Garden City?
Okay, so born and raised in Southwest Kansas, pre-college. I graduated from Scott City High School. My whole family still lives in Garden City, and actually almost my mother's entire side of the family still lives in Garden City. But I found my way to Overland Park via Denver and Vail and back to Denver and then to Kansas City. I graduated from Kansas State with a construction science management degree and went and built high rises and hotels and hospitals and resorts and that whole bit for a minute, and decided to get out of corporate America and go do my own thing. So I met my business partner a few years ago, and the rest has become history very quickly.
Good deal. So I've seen that you've done some videos on Facebook here recently talking about some of the changes you guys have made to your buying process. Can you talk a little bit about that and how you're using the internet to stay connected with people and have a safe and healthy buying experience?
Yeah, absolutely. So whenever the CDC came out with their suggestions and or guidelines about how business should be operating to prevent the spread of COVID-19, we really embraced that because, we were hoping that this wouldn't turn into a big deal, but it obviously compounded very quickly. And I'm glad that we jumped into the research part when it first came out. So we're following all of their procedures. We're encouraging all of our project managers to, improve their daily personal hygiene, whether that's washing their hands more frequently, keeping their hands off their face, just doing and to protect themselves first, and then obviously our clients as well, because we don't need to be passing this thing around faster than it's already going to spread. So like I said, frequent hand washing. Unfortunately, we can't shake people's hands anymore, which is a big problem in my book. That's been a big adjustment for me. Growing up Southwest Kansas, we're all about shaking somebody's hand, looking them in the eye, and then whatever you say, you mean. So that was a big adjustment for us. But then also something we've already been working on is moving everything to completely digital processing. So now we can accept payment, we can sign contracts, we can pick colors, we can do everything for your project online. So if we have a project manager or sales representative come out to your house because you have a leak or it's just time for a new roof, they can hop on your roof, do a complete report, and send you all of their findings digitally. So there's not even a need to meet face to face, which prevents any exposure that person would have, either the customer or our sales representative or project manager.
Being an essential, is there any anxiety that comes with that? Knowing that, yes, you are in a field where there is minimal contact with your clients, you have figured ways around it, but you're still out about into the world. Do you have any anxieties about that for you, and not only you, your employees?
Yes and no. If we follow those guidelines like are presented before us, we should be fine. All of our materials and everything that we're installing, everything from the time it's made all the way to the time it's put onto the roof, the first time human hands touch it are when our guys are taking the wrappers off the shingles. So there's not as much worry about us touching our products or getting on people's roofs. The biggest exposure would obviously be stopping at a gas station and putting gas in your pickup or whatnot. And as long as they're washing their hands, using hand sanitizer, things of those natures, they should be good. So I'm not too worried about it. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's not. But at this time, I think as long as we're following those precautions that are set before us, I think we'll all be fine.
Are you guys, I know you're open still. Is it business as usual down there, or are you only doing certain things that are, I guess, considered essential on their own?
Correct. So we're a little bit more specific to roofing and siding at the moment, whereas, we typically do a lot of window installs as well, but I'm just trying to keep my guys out of other people's houses currently. So we put those projects on hold. But as far as roofing and siding and everything that we can do on the outside of someone's house without coming in contact with them, we're full steam ahead. So we're putting on roofs every single day. We've got several siding projects going across the state. We're business as usual for the most part.
I'm guessing you said you do most of your work online. You could probably live anywhere in Kansas. So why Garden City?
Garden City, like I was saying, my whole family's from Garden City. I've got deep ties and deep roots in Garden City, and I like supporting that local economy. I also view Garden City as a regional hub to Southwest Kansas and really the surrounding area in about 2.5 hours in any direction. So with that, I see a definite business opportunity for us. It allows us to have a local presence in Southwest Kansas where we aren't looking to make money off the local economy, then bring it back to the east half of the state. We want to inject that back into the Western Kansas economy because it's something that I believe in. One of the things I wanted to do before I even left Southwest Kansas to go to college is I always wanted to open up my own construction business and provide the same quality of service that you find in the city in rural America. And so with that, us opening an office in Garden City really allows us to do that and provide big city quality and service with the small town presence. That way we're bringing that quality to small town America.
So how do you think the community's handling things so far? I know the order came out last night, and I know we've seen some people go furloughed already just through Facebook. How are you seeing things going? Are you still getting appointments coming in? Have they slowed down a little bit? How do you think the community's responding so far to Corona?
I would say our sales side of things have slowed down a little bit, but that's to be expected in a slowing economy due to COVID-19. I think it's going to take a minute for people to get their feet under them and realize that, okay, we're going to get through this. We can move forward. There are plenty of people that are a little bit more apprehensive just because they're seeing what the stock market's doing. They don't want to expose themselves or others to COVID-19. So I think that as people become more educated and more familiar, will be more and more business as usual. That said, we've got multiple projects going every single day. So it's not like we're super slowed down. I would say we've probably seen about a 15% decrease, nothing crazy. But with that said, I think the most important thing is just letting people know that you're still open for business and able to provide the services that they look to you for. And so that's a big thing that we've been pushing right now with all of our guys and myself, my business partners. We're just trying to get the word out to everybody that, listen, everyone's shutting down due to COVID-19, but we're still going. If you have a leaky roof, if it's just time for a new roof, if you have siding that's in disrepair and needs fixed or replaced, we can take care of all that stuff. So, we might not be installing windows right now, but everything else we're taking care of, business as usual.
When it comes to dealing with it, we're all dealing with this in our own ways. I'm actually a hypochondriac with OCD, always worried about my health, and I really thought I was going to lose it on this one, but I learned that what my fear was just I didn't want to die alone. But now that everybody's we're all in this together, I find myself less afraid because I don't know. Like I said, I have a team behind me, but I'm trapped in my house. I work from home, and I'm a stay-at-home dad the other part of the day. I'm basically strapped in my house. I'm used to it, but you get to go to work every day. Do you feel that that's good for your mental health to kind of be? I bet you forget this is happening often throughout the day, right? Because you get so caught up in what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. So I typically work from home or work from a job site or work from my pickup, and I'm usually working alone. I'm on the phone with people across the entire United States nonstop, collaborating with other exterior general contractors and things of the like. So for me, and everything being digital, for the most part, I am business as usual. So, I have to catch myself sometimes when I'm like, hey, you want to go out, and never mind, everything's shut down. I kind of forget about it because, again, we're just moving forward, not slowing down. And yes, I definitely think it's good for my mental health to keep going on my normal clip. When I'm not allowed to do anything, I go stir crazy real quick.
Do you have anything, Janine?
I was going to say, we've seen all of these companies that are having to furlough their people because they don't have the work for them right now. And just because of everything that's going on with COVID-19, I think there's that fear. Are you seeing any of that? Or are you having to lay people off, furlough them? Or how's it going for you?
Quite the opposite for us. I'm actually looking to hire 10 new people across the state of Kansas in the next 90 days would be preferable. We're coming into our busiest season, specifically due to Kansas weather. A big chunk of what we do is helping people recoup their property after storm damage. We are considered storm restoration experts. It's what we do. It's the majority of our business. And so when a hailstorm comes through a community, we're there to help everyone put the pieces back together. So with that being said, when most people are slowing down right now due to COVID-19, we're actually ramping up. And I'm looking anywhere and everywhere to find the right sales guys to fit into our mold and into our team. They don't even necessarily have to have prior construction experience if they have the right skill set as far as groundwork laid, whether they're just the right personality type or they have ties to construction or ties to sales. I have an entire digital sales training platform that I use to train all of my guys. So they could be 18 coming out of high school with no prior experience in the trades or construction or sales or anything, and we can turn them into a professional within a matter of months. So if you or anyone is looking for a new thing to be doing, reach out. So you can see me on the ticker right there. Just reach out to me, Marshal at assuranceexteriors.net, and just attach your resume and let's have a conversation. See if you would be a good fit for our team and move on from there.
Awesome, man. So Garden City's like that's where it's at for you, huh? Like, or at least for now, or
so we are 2021. We will be opening another office in a location
nice.
that is between a few different ones. But as it sits for 2020, yes, Garden City will be the only new office besides Overland Park and Topeka for this year. And we're excited to help the community, providing those services, as I stated before, and move forward, really invest in Garden City.
So on our last show, we were talking about different things that we can do here in Garden City to help support things right now. And I think you mentioned something about art supplies. Can you elaborate on that a little bit and tell us what that's about?
Yeah. So what I had mentioned was that if anyone was struggling to get their kid, if art teachers are struggling to get their kids art supplies, we would be willing to help out. Obviously, we're not going to buy every kid in Kansas a pack of crayons, but if somebody is struggling or doesn't have the funds to do so, we'd be happy to help out.
That's really awesome, man. We appreciate you stopping by last week and watching the show and worrying alongside us for a little bit for an hour. So we were all together. And we appreciate you offering to help out, some teachers and students in need. One more time, lay it out there. Give us a pitch. What all do you guys offer? How can they contact you?
Okay, so we're Assurance Exteriors. You can see us in Garden City at 602 East Fulton. Right now, we're by appointment only, just due to the COVID-19 business. You can find us online at assuranceexteriors.net. You can call our office in Garden City. That number is 620-287-9081. Or if you want to reach me directly, you can call my cell phone, which is 620-214-2405. And then my email address is running across the ticker there, Marshal at assuranceexteriors.net. And be happy to answer any questions you guys have, whether it's about a project or employment opportunity. I just look forward to working with everyone in Garden City.
Marshal, thanks so much for stopping by the show.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks,
Nice
Marshal.
to see you.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Marshal.
Have a great day.
That was a heck of an interview.
Yeah.
Marshall's a great guy. He's really done a lot to build that business here and working with that. It's been great to see how much they've grown and been able to do stuff here. So yeah, it was great to have him on. I was glad he was reaching out to us last week.
Awesome. Janine, you want to give a little bit of an introduction for our next guest as I bring her on?
Sure. We have Deb Oyler with us tonight. She is the executive director of the Finney County United Way. Her office is actually one over from my office when I'm actually at work, but for the foreseeable future, we'll be doing that from home. She has done a lot of things above and beyond for the community, and also kind of took the bull by the horns this last year and ran for city commissioner. So she's newly elected in that office as well. So Deb, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, I'm doing all right. Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
So just to start us off, can you tell us a little bit about the United Way and what they do, just for folks that don't know?
Yeah, well, Finney County United Way is a organization that fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in Finney County, and we do that a few different ways. We do that through our partner agencies. We have 23 partner agencies this year, and we work with all of them. They make sure that they're doing, they're kind of our feet on the ground, and providing a lot of those services in those three areas. We also, it'll be a year in May that we started Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. And that is a really exciting program because that provides free books every single month to kids under the age of 5. And so far, we have 750 children signed up getting monthly books. And thanks to the generosity of the Kansas Health Foundation and the Rotary Club, we have room for 750 more kids. And so our goal is over the course of the next few years to make sure that we have as many kids under the age of 5 receiving those monthly books right here in Finney County. And so that's something that we do. We also have community impact funds. And what we do with those monies is if there's a civic group or let's say a classroom and they have a need. Last year, we provided funds for Bernadine Sitz so that each classroom in Bernadine Sitz could provide what's called the Peace Corner. And that just provided different materials and things so that if a child needed a spot, kind of a quiet little corner to sit in and just kind of get away, they could do that. And we also gave some funding to Garfield for something similar, only they're doing a sensory room. We provided a match to Victor and Ellis when they wanted to do their walking trail. And so it's things like that. It's different organizations that typically can't or aren't able to be partner agencies. And it's just another way that we can give back. So,
how did you find yourself in this line of work?
Well, I spent 18 years in public radio, and so yeah, I know, right? I should get a medal. No, I spent 18 years. I was a director for 9, and it was High Plains Public Radio, and we covered 4 states. And so I was tired of traveling, especially because my daughter was in high school. And so I had done some work with United Way on their allocations committee. So I was familiar with the work they did. And when the opportunity came up for me to apply for the director job, I sort of jumped at it because my daughter was a freshman in high school and I wanted to spend some time with her. And so it's been 2.5 years and it's been very rewarding. I've really enjoyed doing this work.
So I know you fund different nonprofit agencies in the community. So how many are you helping with funds this year? And kind of what does that process look like?
You mean for agency funds?
For agency funds, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, so yeah, we're in the process right now of choosing our partner agencies for 2021. Is that what you're talking about? The upcoming or?
I was talking more of like the ones that you've been providing for. But
oh, okay. All right. Yeah, we have, you can go onto our website and you can see all of the different agencies that we have, but it's agencies such as RSVP. One of the cool things that they do and are doing right now is they're doing tax preparation, and they do income taxes for free or a donation. And they are, they work with people, seniors, people who, immigrants, people typically who earn $20,000 or less. And what's so amazing about that is that they're trained through the IRS, they're certified, and I think they do over 1,400 tax returns a year. And this is all done through volunteers. And so our funding goes to help with that. For community daycare, we help them with their food program. And they have a garden that they work with, and it gives the kids an opportunity to plant seeds and learn how to grow vegetables and different fruits. And so we want to make sure that the kids have nutritious meals. We work with Catholic Charities, Salvation Army, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Real Men, Real Leaders. I mean, it's just a whole host of different kinds of agencies that we work with and have worked with for many years. United Way has been in Finney County for well over 70 years. And so we have a pretty good track record of being able to provide the funding and make sure that they're meeting that need, as I said, of the health, education, and financial stability.
So how does a nonprofit or a school get nominated for assistance through the United Way? Is that something the public does, something you guys do to pick out? How's that process work?
Both. So we make sure that when we do our campaign presentations, when we're raising our money, that we let all of those businesses know that we have this fund available. And actually, USD 457 and USD 363 are generous. Their employees are generous supporters of Finney County United Way. And many times when we are doing those presentations, we mention the fact that we have these funds available. And so sometimes it's through word of mouth, other times it's through board members, or it's me calling them up and saying, hey, I understand that you're doing this. And last year, we weren't able to do what's called trick or treat so others can eat. And so we had some community impact funds available, and the board decided that it would be a really great thing if we provided gift cards, Dylan's gift cards, to those food banks. And so we provided over $3,000 in different different denominations, and we helped out Emmaus House, we helped out ABC Pregnancy Center, Ben Casa, Kenneth Henderson, Salvation Army, and the Family Crisis also has a food cupboard. And so we wanted to make sure that we did something to help out in that area.
So since COVID-19 has come out in the United States, have you seen an increase at work? Are you guys getting a lot more busy? What are some of the things United Way's preparing this with the currently base?
So we've been working with Finney County Health Department, Finney County Salvation Army, Red Cross, Catholic Charities, the library, the Art Center, different organizations in town to kind of put together, I don't want to call it a task force, but to, kind of put together a group of people so that when somebody calls that coronavirus hotline, or even if they call United Way or 211, which is our statewide helpline, that we can get the resources that they need. And it can be anything from if somebody's been self-isolating in their house and they're by themselves and they're not able to get to the store, or perhaps they haven't been paid, or they've lost their job or whatever, they can call that number and we can provide some assistance to them. One nice thing about it is it doesn't even have to just be food. I mean, if somebody has read every book in their house and their kids have gone through all the crayons, I had to laugh when you guys are talking about crayons. We can provide crayons just to make sure that that we meet the needs of the whole family and the whole person. And so I've got a lot of volunteers that have called me and let me know that they're available, even if it's just a matter of somebody who, a senior citizen or somebody who's home alone and they just need somebody to talk to. We can provide that. I mean, we have a church who's interested in even just prayer requests if need be. I mean, it's to kind of work with the whole person. We've also been working with the Red Cross and the Chamber, and we are going to do a couple of blood drives as well. We have a blood drive, our very first blood drive, coming up on April 14th, and it's going to be at First Baptist Church. And we are looking forward to being able to do that. The Red Cross has seen such a dramatic decrease in blood drives. A lot of blood drives are being canceled, and so it's a big need right now. And so we're going to do one on April 14th, as I said, and then we're doing another one in June. So this way it's an opportunity to really reach out to the community.
Yeah. One of the things that I always love about you is that you always look for the positive things that you can implement in the community or look at doing things to be able to boost people up. And especially during this period of uncertainty where there's a lot of people that are really kind of, scared and trying to figure out kind of what they can do to help themselves. And you've come up with the Finney County Helpers. Could you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the Finney County Helpers, like I said, I spent many years in radio, not necessarily in video. And so the Finney County Helpers is just an opportunity for us to recognize something good that's happening in Finney County every single day. So far, I've been able to do a video a day, and they're short little videos, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. But it's just to pick a bright spot, something that somebody's doing. We highlighted on our very first one, we highlighted 2 people at Finney County Health Department, Sarah McClure and Maggie Unruh, who they're the ones that are behind all of the social media posts that you see from the health department, and just all of the processes and all of the things in place. And so we wanted to recognize all of the work that they're doing. We also talked a lot about all of the things going on at the senior center. We wanted to make sure that people knew that Meals on Wheels is still happening, and that commodities are still being distributed, and that they're still doing their taxes. And so there are just a lot of volunteers that go into providing Meals on Wheels and the services. And so it's things like that. It's picking one thing a day that for 2 minutes you can just look at something and see the community coming together and working together. And it's just so cool. And I've had people who have sent me pictures and ideas, and so I think I'll have quite a few coming up. But I mean, it's just, we did one on the bear hunt that is going on around town, and I love that whole thing. So it fits right in with our mission, which is providing that, working with that whole person and really meeting the needs of the community.
So, yeah, it was pretty awesome to see the bear hunt that's going on, and the cruise that we had Friday night down Main Street. Yep. Just an outpouring of community togetherness right now. I know people are doing red bows on trees for our hospital as well, and workers there. So it's just really cool to see all that happening. And I had a question for you, and I kind of lost it there as I was going through. But so you are a city commissioner as well. Yes. So we're seeing a lot of the decisions that are being made passed down to local governments right now. So what are some of the bigger issues you guys are facing at the city commission right now, and what can the public do to kind of help with you guys there?
Now, are you talking just in general or in relation to what's going on with the COVID-19 situation?
With COVID-19 situation.
Okay. All right. So on Tuesday, we'll be hosting a town hall. Whenever there's a fifth Tuesday, the city commission at 7:00 in the evening has what's called a town hall, and there are no agenda items, but it's an opportunity for people to come to the city administration building and ask questions of the city commissioners. And it's a great time because, as I said, it's in the evening, and not many people take advantage of that. And it's unfortunate because it really is a great opportunity to ask and find out what's going on, find out how they can get involved. And so that will be this coming Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Is there a way to participate online with that through Facebook?
Yeah, maybe? I think so. Well, I know that with social distancing going on right now, I think I would keep up with the City of Garden City Facebook page, because they'll have up-to-date notices about it and reminders. And yeah, I think through their Facebook page, you could certainly ask some questions as well.
Awesome. Let me ask you this: you're very important. You're very essential. Just by well, to me, I've known you for 30 minutes, and you're very important with your jobs and everything. Take all those hats off for a second. Okay. How are you right now in the midst of all this? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. So, well, you might want to ask me in a week when I have to work from home. As Janine said, I do have the office next to her, and so last week, the chambers all working from their house, and so I was all by myself in the United Way office, and it's kind of lonely. And so this week I will be setting up a home office here, and my daughter, who's a junior in high school, is going to be setting up her classroom at the other end of the table. And so it should be quite interesting. I mean, she may join in on a couple Zoom meetings, and who knows, I may show up in her choir. I don't know. So I think we'll just learn how to do different things. But I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm pretty adaptable. I mean, you have to be when you work in the nonprofit sector. I mean, you have to be adaptable, but you also have to understand that you're not the one in charge, and so it's just a matter of just going with it, and sometimes you just make it up as you go.
So, if people that are watching this wanted to help out, how do they help you?
Well, the biggest thing that I need right now is volunteers. And so if there are people who are interested in volunteering, there's a number that's scrolling at the bottom, and you can call that number. Actually, I'll be able to have all of the United Way phones forwarded to my cell phone, so I won't miss any phone calls. You can also email fcuwed@gmail.com. That's another way to get a hold of me. We have a Facebook page, and people a lot of times will just ask questions through Messenger. We do have a statewide helpline. As I said, it's called 211, and you can call that number 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's also a helpline as well.
Janine, you got anything?
I just appreciate you taking the time on the weekend to come on the show with us and talk to us about United Way and the cool things that you guys do. And we just really appreciate it as a community, that all that you do for everybody here.
Well, thanks. This is a great opportunity, this podcast, to be able to kind of talk a little bit about what's going on and hearing from different people. And so I look forward to seeing just exactly where this podcast goes and who you have on. And so I'll do what I can to promote it as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, as soon as the COVID-19 scare's over, we look forward to being out at some of the events that you guys host, where volunteers are, and just promoting everything that Garden City's doing and how great of a community we are, and kind of going from there. Deb, we thank you for your time today. We look forward to having you on the show again. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we let you go?
Well, the only thing I did not talk about was Stuff the Bus real quick. And I just wanted to mention that we are still in the process of planning Stuff the Bus for this summer. But it's kind of one of those things where we really don't know what the answer is. Usually we collect school supplies in July, and then we distribute them in August. And so I know, Kent, that's when a lot of people volunteer to help out during that time. And so just keep an eye out on our Facebook page and social messaging, and we'll get school supplies out one way or the other come August.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Deb. We appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you down the road. Thank you for all you do.
You bet. Thank you.
Thanks, Deb.
Bye.
Bye.
Delightful.
Deb's awesome. Yeah, she's done a lot of things in Garden City for a lot of years. I was really excited when she decided to run for city commissioner here in town. I think she's going to do really good things for the community. She knows a lot of people, and she's helping getting other people involved, and it's just awesome stuff.
Yeah, she's a cool person. She always puts herself behind the needs of everybody else. And so, she really is invested in the community and what's good and what's going to help other people here. So in having somebody like her in that position on the city commission, and also as the director of the United Way, really is a huge benefit to Finney County.
Absolutely. So we did have the cruise in on Friday night. Janine, did you get out and participate in that?
Yes, I did. We even dragged our kids along, and they weren't completely mortified. I think they were for a little bit, but they started calming down and having a little bit of fun after we were out for a while. But it was a blast. It brought back a lot of memories of being a teenager.
Yeah, my kids hated it. Why are we out in the car? It took forever to get across Kansas Street from Main Street once we got past there and come back down. But
I know how to get the kids to cruise again, and I'm not even joking. It's take their cell phones away, because that's why we cruised. We didn't. That was how we learned about what was going on in town. You go out, you cruise, you park, you meet friends, you talk to friends, and that's one of those pastimes that you really only appreciate and understand if you're from a smaller town. And it really hurt my feelings when I saw that fad sort of die off when everybody didn't need to go out to get their information anymore.
I kind of feel like it died just right after my class graduated. We had the Dollar General crew, and we still had the RT parking lot crew, and people really hung out downtown. And it was always a good time. We had the skating park and things like that as well. But yeah, after we graduated, I just didn't see anybody down there at all anymore, and it was sad to go. But that's technology picked up, and it was just a lot easier. One thing I missed about the cruise this weekend down on Main Street was we used to have 4 lanes. And now that it's 2 lane, you couldn't cruise up next to your buddy and talk to him, just driving down the road. So just some changes have been made. But I hope that the community does it again and some of these kids pick up on it and kind of bring it back. And it's just good, wholesome fun.
What do you feel like the attitude's been like in the last 72 hours with cases of COVID-19 popping up in little communities in southwest Kansas and western Kansas? There's several that have happened in the last 72 hours. Do you think that changes the mindset of the people in town there, or do you think still people are still kind of like feeling like it won't happen to them?
I kind of feel like it depends on who you're talking to. So some of the younger generation, I think, have been more like, okay, it's not going to happen to me, or I don't need to worry about this because it's affecting older, people that are older than they are. But, when you show up with one in Finney County, I think you can, you see a lot of people, especially the grocery stores were packed yesterday afternoon. And then also today we happened to go by Walmart this morning to pick up a couple of things, and we were there at 9:00, and the stalls outside with the carts were packed with carts. So people were going and trying to get groceries, and nobody was coming out just with 1 or 2 things. They're coming out with cartfuls of things. So I think people are trying to take it a little bit more seriously. At least I hope they are. But I think once that was announced here, I really feel like that was kind of an eye-opener to a lot of people that it really is here. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Kent?
Yeah. I've seen some business owners, that say, oh, you're not going to shut me down. Go ahead and do that for their employees now. That we have a case here in town. So it took a little bit longer for it to get out here to this area. I think we all kind of, just like anybody else, was just like, man, what is really going on? And when it took that wait and see approach to it. And, but I see people, that are furloughed now, have been laid off, or, just talking about unemployment. I've seen a huge uptick in that here recently. So it seems like people are taking it more serious and are preparing to stay home.
Let me ask you Kansans this, because I'm in Arizona now. So I really applauded Governor Kelly coming out and putting an end to school for the rest of the year. Like my kid still has to go back in like 2 weeks, but they say they might keep pushing it. But I thought that was a very important thing to do early on, what she did. But she only closed everything else down today. Do you feel like you're glad she finally did it, or do you think it should have been done a little sooner?
I think it's there again. It's been a wait and see approach. Things have been so politicized here lately. It's hard for anybody to really move and know which direction to go in. I think a lot of people feel that a shelter-in-place order is really only going to be most effective if we do it nationwide. Trying to do it in small segments by states, and then the states are saying local governments, so we're leaving it up to counties to do. I think she's been proactive in some ways, especially with the schools. It's letting us know, hey, we're done for the year versus okay, we're going to roll this way for 2 weeks, and we're going to see what happens at the end of the 2 weeks. It allows us to be more prepared for a longer haul, especially moving into summer, things like that. So I think some of the stuff has just been a slow release to where we'll ultimately get, and it's helping people just cope a little bit better than everything just shutting down all at once and we're done.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody would have really taken it seriously before we had a confirmed case here. I think pretty much a lot of people believe that we have had it here just because of the lack of the ability to test everybody that shows up with some of the symptoms that we've had. It hasn't confirmed those cases. I think now that we have a confirmed case, people will take it more seriously. I don't know that people would have. I think people would have probably thought that she jumped the gun if she would have done a statewide approach before we had more of it out here.
Yeah, she's got it tough.
She's done a good job.
Yeah, in a Republican state, she's got it tough right now, and I think she's composed herself well, handling the situation. She's given us the information. Hopefully we don't get treated like New York and Florida, and we get the financial aid that we need. I hope she's working well with the president and his administration right now, and things continue to go as well as they seem to be going for Kansas so far.
Yeah. She's done a tough job. I mean, these weren't easy decisions to make, but I think she is really taken in the information from experts in those fields and looked at what was going to be best for the state and not just assuming. So she's done her work and she's done a good job with it.
Yeah. For me, I had an issue with the way the testing was going. It seemed odd that, we were getting a bunch of positive results out on Eastern Kansas and the way this thing spread. And so I kind of went wild on Facebook and kept going, no, it's an Eastern Kansas problem. I kind of felt like Forrest Gump, in the movie when he's on the boat yelling at God, and here we are. So, but we got to commend our medical staff too at the hospital. Several doctors and nurses have been putting out information to help, slow the spread of misinformation and to help slow the spread of the virus itself. There was a big uproar about why this person's not in the hospital right now, but guys, we got to think if they're not severely ill, we've got to keep the respirator, ventilator machines open for people that are, self-quarantine thing's a real thing. If you are,
and plus hospitals are filled with compromised people. So.
Exactly. We don't need that sitting there if there's absolutely no reason. I think our hospital's made pretty good decisions thus far. I think there's still a lot of questions that need to be answered to some doctors and to the public. But there again, we're on a wait and see approach, and see how bad this is going to affect us and our communities. Even our rural local counties around us are going to depend on Finney County pretty heavily right now, I think. So.
Yeah. Well, do you guys have any final words? I got an interview I got to do in about 5 minutes. Do we have any plans for? Or do you want to tell them we're maybe thinking about doing an extra show this week, considering we're all stuck at home anyway, so we have a little bit of time to do that. So you guys have anything you want to say?
Yeah, just watch our Facebook pages. We're going to try to get a doctor and maybe someone from the unemployment office to come talk to us a little bit and into our community about, safety precautions that we need to be taking, what's good for you to be doing, what's not good for you to be doing, and how to handle unemployment if you are furloughed or laid off currently, and some of the benefits that you can receive from the government. So yeah, just watch our Facebook page, Growing Garden City. Share us up, give us a like, come by, say hi. And thanks for tuning in this week, guys. We appreciate you swinging by.
See y'all later.
Yeah. Have a great night, everyone.
Well, I don't think it, I thought it, that's different. I said what I said and I meant it, or lamented. Words given weight without thought, and a person the way that I talk and the way that I ought to be able to pause and to say that the fault can be placed on my arms. To this playful assault, to disgrace in this arm. Pray for the day they could wait for the calm. You can't control the storm, only weather it. Whether it's 5 weeks and 5 days of rain sideways, or scorched earth, search for death or water left with all the thorns.